It was dark, and the rain poured heavily. A man, with half of his face exposed, stood over a little boy lying on the ground. Sneering, he muttered, "Blame your father for all of this." Staring down at the motionless child, the man knew he didn't have much time. He could feel them, pursuers from the afterrealm. They were close. Kneeling, he placed a hand on the boy's body. This is but a small price to pay for refusing the simplest of requests. Dark energy seeped from the boy, draining his life force. His small hands, once clenched, fell limply to the ground as his life slowly faded. The man frowned. "I should wait until he fully perishes, but something strange is approaching. My powers are weakening." With a final glance at the lifeless boy, the man turned and vanished into the storm. Moments later, a little girl appeared, running toward the boy. She huffed in frustration. Why did it have to rain today of all days? Just then, she tripped, her foot catching on something. She tumbled forward, landing with a splash. "Ugh, now I'm all cold and wet," she complained, pushing herself up. But when she glanced down at what had tripped her, her eyes widened. "Wow, what the? No way. I didn't just kill a mortal, did I? Just how fragile are they? I barely touched him. I only used my powers to shield myself from the rain. I just wanted to enjoy my first outing in the mortal realm." She whined in distress, her voice trembling. "But wait, mortal children don't wander around at night, do they? That's weird. Oh, I remember. Mortals turn stiff a few hours after they die. He's not stiff. So it wasn't me." Her panic turned into confusion. But where are his Grim Reapers? That's weird. She looked around anxiously, unsure of what to do. Yet, as she gazed at the boy, sadness welled in her chest. Without thinking, she reached out, placing her hands over his. A soft glow surrounded them as she injected life force into his body. A blinding white light flashed from above, enveloping them. Then, the little girl collapsed, unconscious. In the next moment, another flash lit up the night, and a woman appeared, rushing toward the girl. "Lady Jihi, my goodness, what have you done? You've interfered with the fate of a mortal." She hesitated, glancing at the unconscious girl. "I should take back the life she gave him, but she needs urgent care." Without another word, the woman vanished with the little girl, leaving the boy lying in the rain. A moment later, the boy exhaled a shaky breath. Not long after, headlights pierced through the heavy rain as a car approached in the distance. When it stopped, the driver quickly stepped out, opening an umbrella to shield an elderly man from the downpour. "I'd like to be alone." "Wait here," the elderly man requested. "But it's raining, sir," the driver protested. "It's fine." The elderly man looked up at the dark, stormy sky, rain cascading down his face. He muttered, "What better day to let the rain pour down on me?" Then, pulling his hat low to hide the tears welling down his face, he walked away from the car. His grief was momentarily interrupted when he noticed something not far ahead. He frowned. "What's a child doing here?" Sensing the urgency, the driver rushed over, kneeling beside the motionless boy. "So you see him too?" the elderly man asked, his voice tense. "Is he dead?" After checking the boy's pulse, the driver's eyes widened. "He's alive." The revelation stunned the elderly man. Without hesitation, they agreed to take the boy to the hospital. Sometime later, the boy lay unconscious in a hospital bed, IV drips attached to his arm. The elderly man sat beside him, deep in thought. Judging by his clothes, he could be a child actor, but there haven't been any missing child reports. He's been unconscious for a whole week. If no one comes for him. His thoughts were interrupted as the boy's head shifted, as if waking up. Moments later, his eyes slowly opened. Some time has passed. At the elderly man's home, he spoke gently to the boy. "You can stay with me until your memory returns. If anything comes to you, let me know. Until then, I'll call you Shinwu. It means a blessing sent by the gods on a rainy day. Shinwu Park, that will be your name from now on." The boy blinked, his expression unreadable, before repeating, "Shinwu Park." The elderly man smiled softly, thoughts echoing in his mind. "I had lost the will to live, but you've given me a reason to go on." Nestled in the corner of a bustling street stood Lee's bookstore, a shop specializing in antique books. Inside, the manager, Mr. Do, a dope KB, a mischievous spirit from Korean folklore, was busy smoothing out the edges of an old book. As he dusted it off, a cloud of dust floated straight toward the shop's owner, making her sneeze. Ah, sorry, boss. Are you all right? Mr. Do asked, wincing. Lady Ju, he coughed and glared at him. How many times do I have to tell you? Blow away from people. Scratching the back of his head, Mr. Do grinned sheepishly. Sorry, I got so focused, I forgot you were here. Holding in her frustration, Juhi muttered. I swear you get more forgetful every day. Didn't you sell a reserved book to another customer yesterday? Mr. Do panicked. I swear it didn't have a reserved sticker on it. Juhi crossed her arms, unimpressed. Oh, was it a magic sticker then? Did it just disappear overnight on its own? Mr. Do covered his mouth and mumbled. You know I can't lie. I mean, I did sell it for scraps, but I didn't know it was rare. Juhi sighed. Just make sure you package those books properly. Professor Jiang specifically requested them, so don't leave any out. Mr. Do patted his chest. Got it. I'll wrap them up nice and neat. Just then, their attention shifted to an empty space in the store. The glass case was missing. I haven't seen Suk all day, Juhi noted. Oh, June came by earlier and took Suk with him, Mr. Do explained. He said he'd bring him back before closing. Juhi's eyes narrowed. You let June take Suk? He hasn't even fully recovered yet. Mr. Do huffed. We can't say no to one of our regulars just for the sake of a lizard. Suk has to earn his keep too. Oh, and you might not be aware, but that thing is going to eat us out of house and home at this rate. Juhi rubbed her forehead in frustration. Why do you two have it out for each other? Just then, the door chimed, and a man entered, carrying Suk. Hey, Mr. Do? I came to drop Suk off, the man greeted. Mr. Do's brow furrowed. Officer Kim? Why do you have Suk? Officer Kim sighed. I ran into June's mom while out on patrol. She had to rush off somewhere, so I offered to bring him back. He glanced at the lizard. I can see why June likes him. Suk is such a cutie. Mr. Do scoffed. Cute, my ass. That's the ugliest lizard I've ever seen. We don't even know his exact species. He crossed his arms. But are you even allowed to do stuff like this while on patrol? Officer Kim grinned. Hey, this is work too. We're always here to help. My partner's waiting outside. Then, turning to Juhi, he asked shyly. So, how have you been, Ji? She smiled. I've been good. Thanks for bringing Suk back safely. Her warm response made Officer Kim stammer. It was nothing. Here. He handed her the glass case. You're too kind, she replied. Watching the exchange between the two, Mr. Do smirked. Do you have a crush on my boss, Officer Kim? Now that I think about it, you used to bring her coffee and buy books you didn't even need before you became a cop. Officer Kim's face turned red. And no, it's not like that. We're just neighbors and both like books. And wait, how do you even know that? You've only worked here for 2 years, right? Didn't you start after I joined the force? Now it was Mr. Do's turn to panic. The previous manager told me you were a regular, and that you sometimes brought coffee. Jahi shot Mr. Do a sharp glare. Officer Kim nodded, seemingly convinced. Oh, right. That makes sense. Strange, though, you kind of remind me of the previous manager. Mr. Do let out a nervous chuckle. Ha, really? Officer Kim wasn't wrong. The truth was, Mr. Do and the previous manager were the same person, but no one could know that. The tension was broken when a report came in over Officer Kim's radio. We're getting reports of objects being thrown around in front of Ace Apartments, Block 109. Please head over ASAP. Officer Kim sighed. Duty calls. Gotta go. Before he left, Mr. Do asked, sounds like trouble? Scratching his head, Officer Kim hesitated. Well, sort of. No injuries yet, but we keep getting reports from the same block. Jahi smiled. Stay safe out there. Her words flustered him so much that he almost tripped on his way out. Mr. Do and Jahi silently watched him leave. After Officer Kim left, Mr. Do exhaled in relief. That was close. He seems pretty dense, but he's weirdly intuitive at times. Only then did he notice Jahi burning with rage. He panicked. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I won't open my big mouth from now on. Just don't kick me out. Being naturally kind, Jahi sighed and gave him a warning. Fine, but this is your last chance. And try to get along with Suk. As if on cue, Suk had escaped from his glass cage and hopped onto Mr. Do's head. Mr. Do groaned, but hesitantly agreed before changing the subject. I'm pretty sure Officer Kim has a crush on you. Don't you think? Jahi shrugged, unsurprised. Well, duh. Everyone knows that. Mr. Do gasped dramatically. Then what are you waiting for? Marry him. Have lots of cute little babies. Then I can finally get a new master. A vein popped on Juhi's forehead. So I'm supposed to get married and have kids just so you can get a new master? Mr. Do flinched. He's not just some random guy. Pure souls like that are hard to come by, you know. Juhi smirked. If you like him so much, maybe you should go make a contract with him. She turned away and muttered, well, I guess this marks the end of our Doke KB contract. Now, where did I put it? Mr. Do clung to the hem of her cardigan, wailing, boss, please. I'm sorry. I beg you. Don't do this. Juhi attempted to yank her shirt away. Get off me. I'm not having kids just so you can get a docile new master. Go to your beloved Officer Kim instead. Please, boss. Mr. Do pleaded. I'll never mention marriage again. I swear. I'll even die with you when your time comes. Feeling even more bothered, Juhi uttered. I don't want to take care of a Doke KB even after I die. Just bring me your contract. Their argument was interrupted by the chime of the doorbell. An elderly man stepped inside, shaking his head. Tut tut. What have you done to upset her now? Mr. Do laughed nervously. Hee, just a little slip of the tongue. Mr. Park, it's been a while. The book you ordered came in ages ago. I'll go get it for you. Then he stormed off. Juhi greeted Mr. Park with a polite smile. Mr. Park, the man who had once picked up a lost boy in the rain, chuckled. He's still all over the place, huh? Then his gaze wandered around the quiet shop. It's so dead in here. Are you even making a profit off this place? Juhi smiled, but her expression stiffened when she noticed something behind him. Her heart clenched. A Grim Reaper. Oblivious, Mr. Park continued. Yes, it's been a while, but this place hasn't changed. As he stepped closer, the entity behind him became clearer. Her breath hitched. That Grim Reaper. He's the one who came for Grandpa 2 years ago. Is he here for Mr. Park? Noticing her serious expression, Mr. Park chuckled. Why so serious, Juhi? Lighten up. That's why your grandfather was always so worried about you. He helped himself onto the sofa. Juhi forced a smile. Don't worry. I'm doing absolutely fine. Mr. Park shook his head. Not quite. You're wasting your youth in this dusty old bookstore. Juhi glanced around and murmured, I like it here. It feels like time stands still, like it just passes without me realizing it. I like living like this, like I'm part of the scenery. Mr. Park sighed. You don't sound like someone your age. Maybe I should just tear this place down. That might be the only way to get you out of here. Juhi smirked. Don't forget the contract you signed with me 2 years ago. You said it was for life. If you did that, I'd probably resent you forever. Mr. Park chuckled. Well, I wouldn't want that. I want you to remember me as a kind, gentle old man. The smile on her face didn't reach her eyes. She knew what fate awaited him. Of course, you're so kind, she said softly. Do you have plans today? How about some tea? He raised a brow. Tea? No coffee. She shook her head. Yeah, tea. I have something special I want to make for you. Before stepping away, she stole one last glance at the Grim Reaper looming behind him. The movement made Mr. Park turn around. Is someone outside? What are you looking at? Juhi quickly forced a reassuring smile. It's nothing. I thought I saw someone out front, but I was mistaken. She turned away, feeling a deep heaviness settle in her chest. A flashback surfaced. The moment she first entered the mortal realm and saved a boy. The punishment that followed. You will be reincarnated as a mortal. You will live a quiet life of atonement. Even after being punished for interfering in a mortal's fate, she was unable to detach herself from that sad fate. She couldn't stop caring. All she could do for Mr. Park now was give him a warm send-off. That was all she could do. Mr. Park wondered if that was his Secretary Cha that Juhi thought she saw. He told Secretary Cha to wait in the car out front. Juhi reasoned that it might have been a passerby. Mr. Do then peeked from the side door behind Juhi and questioned, Is someone outside? Juhi turned around to face Mr. Do. With a stern expression, she asked, No. Could you bring out that tea that's on the top shelf, please? Surprised, Mr. Do questioned the top shelf. You mean the one with the fancy packaging? But you told me that was off limits. Irritated by Mr. Do's non-stop questioning, Juhi yelled, Fine, never mind. I'll do it myself. Feel free to go home. Mr. Do waved his hand up and refused. No, boss. I'll get the tea. That's what I'm here for. Then he scurried away. Mr. Park sighed upon seeing this. He commented, He's a very odd fellow, isn't he? Just like the last one. And the one before that. You always get the odd ones, my dear. Juhi muttered, Yeah, I guess this place is cursed. In hindsight, Mr. Do was a tactless dope KB and an exile from the celestial realm. This place sure is weird. Then Mr. Park noticed the lizard in the glass cube. And, what's with that lizard? You really must be lonely. This won't do. I'm gonna set you up with someone. And I won't take no for an answer. Jahi told Mr. Park that she does not want to force anything. He replied, it's not forcing, per se. He is just trying to find her someone special. She needs some excitement in her life. Does she really think he would set her up with some weirdo? Jahi smiled and stated, not at all. She knew how good he is at reading people. Mr. Park concluded, she's going on a date. Jahi told him she's fine with it, which surprised Mr. Park. He asked her again if she was serious. She clenched with her resolve as she knew what fate awaits him. Yes, she's serious. Happy, Mr. Park laughed. Wonderful. There's this guy I've been worried about for a long time. Why didn't I think of you sooner? Jahi questioned. So it isn't just me you worry about? Mr. Park replied, right. There's someone else. A real headache. Actually, you guys remind me of each other. Not the way you look, but somehow you have a similar aura. Mr. Park approached closer to Jahi and studied. Jahi answered, how fascinating. So there's someone who's as weird as me, huh? Mr. Park laughed and replied, perhaps, you two are meant to be. Anyway, I'll be arranging a date soon. No going back on your word now. Mr. Do swung the door and shouted, oh my God, you're going on a blind date. Mr. Park spoke to Mr. Do. You seem rather excited about it. Mr. Do walked up to Mr. Park with the tea set and replied excitedly, of course I am. If it works out, she might even get married. Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Park laughed heartily. I'm not sure why you're thanking me, but you're most welcome. The tea set was put on the table. Mr. Do questioned, what kind of tea is this? Jahi opened the lid with a saddened expression and proceeded to make the tea as she answered. Floral tea. Smelling its scent, Mr. Park commented, it has quite the refreshing aroma. It almost feels like it's cleansing my soul. Jahi answered, yeah, drinking this will be good for you. Have some before the aroma wears off. Mr. Park took a sip of the tea and smiled. Very good. Now I know why you're so fond of tea, my dear. The tea Jahi served is made from a flower that only blooms once a decade. It grows only in the garden of the king of the celestial realm and is blessed by the king himself. It'll help Mr. Park on his journey to the afterlife. Her father sent this flower to her from the celestial realm after she was reincarnated as a mortal. She is glad she could give it to Mr. Park. After finishing the tea, Mr. Park took out his pen. I feel rather indebted to you now. I'll have to hurry up and arrange that date. Do you have papers? He proceeded to scribble on a piece of paper and then presented it to Jahi and asked her to sign. It was a blind date contract in which she promised to go on a date arranged by Juho Park and meet with the suitor at least 3 times. Jahi took the contract, looked at it, and then scribbled her name on the signature area. Feeling content, Mr. Park now felt like he could relax. I'm telling you, he's a good one. He's quite hard-headed, but he's very good-looking. Haha. Jahi chuckled with Mr. Park. After the business was done, Jahi walked Mr. Park out to his car. She didn't see the Grim Reaper in sight. Before leaving, he thanked her again for the tea. Jahi wished him a safe journey, but in her heart, she just hoped. Today is not the day he goes. Major breaking news was on the TV and radio everywhere, in the restaurant and subway. Chairman Juho Park of Korea's biggest conglomerate, Hansung Group, has died in a car accident. It's being reported that a truck driver had fallen asleep at the wheel and crashed into Chairman Park's car. His funeral is being held at Seoul University Hospital. People, including politicians and celebrities, are turning up in big numbers to pay their respects. Mr. Do cried like a child in front of the TV, questioning Ji. Are you really not going to the funeral? The saddened Jahi, who already foreseen this, replied, no. Mr. Do wailed upon hearing this. He complained, how can you be so cold? You were like a daughter to him. Jahi reasoned that she gave him a send-off a few days ago. He's in a better place now. The king's blessing signifies the virtue of a person's life. The judges in the after realm will treat him accordingly. Mr. Do questioned if she can see the fate of mortals. Does she know when they will die? Jahi told him that she is not from the after realm. Only a person's Grim Reaper can see their fate. Mr. Do then asked how does she know Mr. Park was going to die? Jahi explained that she saw a Grim Reaper following Mr. Park the other day he visited. Mr. Do cried unhappily. You could have told me. I didn't even get a chance to say goodbye. Jahi sighed. Don't be too sad. He'll know you're mourning him. Today was also a dark, gloomy day. The rain was downpouring hard. A car came to a complete stop in front of an entrance. A young man got out from the back passenger side. The driver rushed out of the car and stated, "Please, sir, let me drive you inside." It's still pouring down. The young man, with his face downcasted, asked, "I'm fine. Did you do what I asked?" The driver answered, "Yes. I gave all the employees at the manor the week off, but there will be no one to attend to you. It puts you at risk. Perhaps I should stay with you." The young man walked towards the door, with his gloomy back facing the driver. "I'm sure you could do with some rest too, Mr. Cha." Mr. Cha took a few steps behind and asked, "At least take an umbrella, sir." The heavy rain drips down the young man's face, making it hard to discern if it was tears of grief or rain. What better day to let the rain pour down on me? Mr. Cha was taken aback by this statement as he had heard it before. Before closing the entrance door, the young man told Mr. Cha that he didn't need an umbrella and for Mr. Cha to get home safely. Staring at the shut door, Mr. Cha murmured, "Did you hear that, sir? Your grandson used the exact same words as you. I remember that day. It was raining hard, and you were overwhelmed with grief. It was the worst day of your life. I was apprehensive at first. The child seemed completely out of place. But I know that the decision you made that day saved your life. Things are going to get pretty messy at Hansung Group starting tomorrow. But don't you worry, sir. Your grandson is going to do just fine." A few days later, Mr. Cha was walking through the garden. He sighed while adjusting his ties. "Phew. I want to retire to some place in the countryside once this is all done." A voice called out, "I hope that day never comes," which took Mr. Cha by surprise. He turned around to the source of the voice, and the same young man stood a couple steps up to the side. "Good morning, sir." Mr. Cha greeted him. The young man walked down and commented, "I'd appreciate it if you'd stay on as my security and my assistant." Mr. Cha reasoned that he's too old for all that. He picked out a new security guard for the young man already. The young man asked, "How about just as my assistant then?" Mr. Cha still tried to reason. "Times have changed, sir. Out with the old and in with the new, as they say." The young man replied, "I already told you, I don't need security. I can handle myself." Mr. Cha retorted, "I must disagree, sir. You represent the company. The late chairman would be furious if he found out you didn't have any security." The young man said with a gloomy expression, "Fine. Then I won't take the job." This statement startled Mr. Cha. The young man asked, "Grandfather's will is in there, right? He left all his assets to me, didn't he?" Mr. Cha answered, "Yes." The young man then replied, "I don't think I'll be signing that then. No more Hansung and no more CEO." Mr. Cha reasoned, "Please don't joke about such matters. Your grandfather built this company from scratch." The young man answered with a serious expression, "You know me. I don't joke." Mr. Cha questioned, "Why on earth would you?" The young man answered, Yes, I wonder why." Mr. Cha was at a loss. He uttered, If I agree to stay on as your assistant." The young man smiled and replied, "Well, then I'd have no choice but to reconsider." Bewildered why the young man was so persistent, he questioned, "What could an old man like me possibly add to the company? There are so many talented, ambitious young people out there." The young man responded, "I don't want to work closely with some calculating little prick. Besides, I'm rather fond of you, Mr. Cha." His people skills are as good as his grandfather's. Mr. Cha thought, "I've already hired your new security guard, so let him stay. He's tight-lipped, so you don't need to worry. But he did mention that he'd like his contract to be with you directly, rather than through the company." The young man pondered about it and concluded that it makes no difference to him whether the security guard signs the contract with him directly or through Hansung Corporation. Mr. Cha added that the asset management team recommended that the young man dispose of some of the chairman's personal assets. What does the young man think? The young man said he has no problem with it and will leave it up to Mr. Cha to take care of. Mr. Cha smiled, feeling grateful. Outside of Lee's bookstore, it was bustling with people. Fall seems to be in season. People bundled up appropriately. A notification came through to Juhee's phone. It was from her father, notifying her that his business trip will take longer and he'll be home later than planned. As Juhee updated Mr. Do of the text message, the doorbell chimed, attracting their attention. It was the mailman delivering mail. Mr. Do brought the mail to Juhee stating that it was mail from the Hansung Group. Juhee opened the mail and looked at the content. Her face froze in shock. Mr. Do asked if it was a love letter. her hands trembling as she replied, "No. No notice of lease termination." Mr. Doe snatched the paper to take a closer look. "What is this?" "They're terminating the lease. But Mr. Park renewed our lease indefinitely just 2 years ago. We have the contract." Jahi tapped her forehead as if the world was coming to an end. "Can you really call it a contract, though? It just details the tiny amount of rent and says it's for life. It says here the new landlord is Shinu Park." Mr. Doe slammed the paper on the tabletop and suggested, "It says to contact the Hansung Group legal department if we have any objections." "We should call them and fight this, boss." Jahi questioned, "Fight it? You want me to sue the best legal team in the country?" Mr. Doe complained in agony. "Well, what else can we do? Just let them kick us out. If we cannot duke it out with the legal team, let's at least go after this Shinwoo guy. He must be Mr. Park's grandson, right? How could he go back on his grandfather's world like that? He only died a few days ago." Jahi sighed, thinking, "There's no way she'll find somewhere in Seoul at this price. Maybe, not anywhere." Then Mr. Doe urged her to hurry up and put on her jacket. "They have to go fight this, right now?" At Hansung Legal Department, Mr. Doe made his verbatim complaint. "Just what do you think you're playing at? So did some ghost send us this, then? It says here to contact the legal department." Pointing his finger on the terms on the paper document, the legal department representative stated they have no record of sending this document out. This is not an asset owned by Hansung. This surprised both Jahi and Mr. Doe. "No records? So you're saying our bookstore doesn't even exist?" Mr. Doe asked. The female representative adjusted her glasses and explained, "Not quite. We mean that it was probably the late chairman's private property. I think you ought to ask Mr. Cha or the chairman's personal lawyer. Actually, Mr. Huang is away on business. Mr. Cha's your best option. However, he's currently very busy setting things up for the new chairman. Perhaps you should return next month." Mr. Doe slammed his hand on the table, complaining, "We don't have time. You must sort this out right now." Immediately, the female representative reiterated, "They can wait and meet Mr. Cha or come back at a later date." The legal department was unable to help them any further. Mr. Doe stood up and shouted, "Well, if you can't resolve this yourselves, then send for this Shinwoo Park." Jahi tried calming Mr. Doe down, but at this point, the security was already alerted by the legal department. The next moment, the securities came in while Mr. Doe was having his fit. The legal representatives instructed the securities to lead the two out. Mr. Doe tried to put up with a verbal fight, but of course, he was no match for a big corporation like the Hansung Group security. The two were led out to the lobby area when Jahi told the security man that she had forgotten her bag in the room. Then the male legal representative darted around the corner with her bag, shouting after them. He tossed the bag in the air towards Jahi, causing them to feel nervous. Their little baby, Suk, is in the bag. One of the security guards caught the bag in the air when he felt something move in the bag, and then a lizard leaped out. Suk slithered around the floor, jumped around the wall, making it hard for the security guards to capture him. They tried forcing Suk to the back door, but Suk jumped towards a group of people that was opposite the exit. While the other guards were busy chasing after Suk, the legal rep ordered the securities to continue escorting Jahi and Mr. Doe to the entrance exit. Mr. Doe wasn't too happy and still demanded to speak to someone while Jahi was worried about Suk. As they were being dragged away, Jahi turned around to look at the direction Suk was heading. Among that group of people, one person caught her attention. That person was standing sideways in her direction, but the commotion caused him to look up in their direction. Jahi finally got a glimpse of the man's face. She'd never seen that guy before, but somehow he feels familiar to her. That was strange. The group of people parted in two rows, bowed and greeted the man as Mr. Park. He walked through the parted path when Suk leaped towards him. The security guard caught Suk in the air a couple inches away from Mr. Park's face. The people who greeted Mr. Park finally let out a breath of relief, witnessing the sight. Suk was finally caught and wriggled crazily, while Mr. Park's attention was focusing on Jahi the whole time. As she was escorted out of sight, he wondered who she was. He felt like he knew her, somehow. The security guard that caught Suk finally said that he will get rid of the lizard. Suk wriggled and yelled as he reached his front legs towards Mr. Park. He asked the security to give the lizard to him. The lizard was finally let go and quickly climbed up to Mr. Park's shoulder. He lightly touched the lizard and asked, "You're Suk, are you?" Suk directed his eyes towards the exit, as if wanting to say he wanted to go there. Mr. Park then told him to go, and Suk quickly climbed down his arm and stormed off, leaving the workers speechless. Their attention was still at Suk dashing away. To bring back everyone's attention, Mr. Park said, "It seems like our employees have a lot of time on their hands, Mr. Cha." This makes Mr. Cha feels a little nervous. He replied, "I'm sorry, sir. I forgot to tell them not to greet you at the entrance." Mr. Park ordered that he doesn't want any more time wasted with these kinds of unnecessary gestures. With that, the three walked away from the workers. While they waited at the elevator, Mr. Park commanded Mr. Cha to find out what all that commotion was about. The owner of that lizard. He wanted Mr. Cha to find out why she was forced to leave. It was already night time, but at Lee's bookstore, Jae was still ruminating over about Mr. Park. Why can't she stop thinking about him? While Mr. Do paced back and forth complaining, "How can they do this to us? Do they expect us to just wait around forever? Do we really have to just sit and twiddle our thumbs until they send us an enforcement notice?" Jae sighed and answered, "We'll just have to take their advice and meet with Mr. Cha next month." Mr. Do refused. "Let's just go directly to Mr. Park's house. I bet this Shinu Park guy's living there now." Jae questioned Mr. Do. "Don't you remember what Grandpa said about Arcane Manor? That place is crawling with employees and security guards. They're not going to just let anyone saunter in there. Just give it a rest, will ya? Aren't you tired?" "I'm exhausted, personally." Mr. Do finally stopped pacing and asked with concern, "Are you that tired? You cannot even jump in a cab." Jae replied dejectedly, "Yeah, I'm exhausted." To her, this is the most tired she's ever felt since coming to the mortal realm. She stood up and told Mr. Do that she will deal with the lease, so he doesn't have to worry about it. She's going to catch up on some sleep. She made her way to the door and turned the switch, but she noticed there were light flashes behind her. Mr. Do had opened a transport portal. He pushed Jui's back before she could realize what's happened. "I get lost easily, so I'm not sure. But I think this is the fastest way." Jae vanished, and before vanishing himself, he pointed to Suk and ordered, "You behave while we're away, okay?" Suk replied, "Ka?" In the portal, Mr. Do grabbed Jae's hand as he guided her, and not paying heed to what Jae said. "Hold on tight." Dakibi rode to Arcane Manor. Then more white bright light enveloped them as they vanished through the portal. The bookstore was all dark after that, and Suk yawned lazily, ready to sleep. Mr. Cha was still working when a voice asked, "It's getting late, Mr. Cha. Shouldn't you be calling it a day?" Mr. Cha answered, "I was just about to leave. The report you asked for is on the desk. How about employing some live-in staff here at the manor? It might make things easier for you." Shinwoo, who looked like he just got out of the shower, stated, "I find having lots of people around makes things more difficult." With concerns, Mr. Cha asked, "I heard you haven't been eating well. Are you okay? Perhaps you should get a checkup." Shinwoo replied with, "Nothing for you to be concerned with. I'm perfectly fine." Then pointing to the document that Mr. Cha had sorted, he questioned, "Is this the report on the Han Research Institute of Cultural Heritage?" Mr. Cha explained that is correct. That's all the date they have on them. The chairman gave them a lot of leeway. Shinwoo flipped through the documents and murmured, "So, despite the generous investment they've been receiving from us, they're now asking for twice that amount?" Mr. Cha explained, "It seems so. And regarding Lee's bookstore, I found out that it was your grandfather's lawyer, Mr. Huang, who sent the notice. He was going through the late chairman's assets and found a rather outrageous contract. He said he's dealing with it." "But Lee's bookstore," Shinwoo interrupted him, "wasn't that owned by a friend of my grandfather's? I remember he passed away 2 years ago, and the grandfather locked himself in his room, mourning for a whole week." Mr. Cha replied, "Yes, sir. After that, his granddaughter took over the bookstore. Your grandfather seems to have been taking good care of her." It finally clicked. Shinwoo glanced at the bookshelf. So that's the reason he bought all those antique books. Whenever he was late coming home from work, he'd bring a stack of books with him. He did the same thing a few days before he passed away. "Where's the original lease?" Mr. Cha stated that it should be in the safe and excused himself. Before bidding Mr. Cha goodnight, Shinwoo told Mr. Cha that he will look at it, and he doesn't plan on rescinding any contracts grandfather personally signed. After Mr. Cha left, Shinwoo went to the safe and opened it. In the safe was his black clothes he wore when he was found, and the shelf below was a piece of paper. He took out the contract paper to look at it and thought the word, "for life," was cute. But then behind the contract was another piece of paper written, blind date. A flashback of when Grandpa said he will never speak to Shinwoo again if Shinwoo doesn't go on this date. Then Grandpa praised happily, "Wonderful. You've signed it. There is no going back now. A man is only as good as his word. And you promised, didn't you, my boy?" Apparently, Grandpa made him sign a contract as well. Now looking at the contract on his hands, it has the information of the meetup on it, and signed by Jae Lee. Just as he was engrossed in the content of the blind date contract, he heard a noise from the upstairs door. The door flung open and Jae appeared tumbling down the stairs. Shinwoo rushed towards the stairs, thinking, she's gonna fall. He arrived just in time to catch Jae. The moment when he caught her in his arms, he noticed that she was Jae Lee. Mr. Do yelped, "Ouch. Arg. This is why I never use Doke KB Road. It hurts. Anyways, where are we? Did we make it to Arcane Manor?" Then he noticed a man holding on to Jae. The man replied, "I don't know why you're looking for Arcane Manor, but you came to the right place." Upon hearing this, Mr. Do felt proud. It was the first time he tried this method. Then he finally remembered his boss and abruptly got up, but bumped into the safe and yelped in pain one more time. At this time, Jae came around only to realize that she was in the arms of a man. She quickly retreated from the man and apologized. Then, the security guard came running in. "Sir, are you all right?" He heard a weird noise. It was at this moment that Mr. Do noticed him and yelled while pointing finger at him. "Huh? Why the hell are you?" The security guard covered Mr. Do's mouth to stop him from talking and asked Shinwoo, "What should I do with this intruder, sir?" Shinwoo instructed his security to take the noisy one outside for a second. And without hesitation, the security dragged Mr. Do out the door. After the two left, Shinwoo said to Jae, "I think we have some things to discuss, Ms. Lee." Her memory was jolted to reality. This man lives in Arcane Manor, and those employees were there to greet him this morning. Thus, he must be Shinwoo Park. She asked, "How do you know my name?" He explained that he did his own research. It's not every day that someone lets a lizard loose in the lobby of his building. He doesn't know how long she was hiding up there, but she could have hurt herself jumping out like that. Jae sighed, thinking she's going to rip that Doke KB contract to pieces when she gets home. She apologized and explained to him that she wanted to see him in person to discuss her lease. She knew Mr. Park signed a contract that was very favorable to her, but that sudden termination notice put her in a very difficult situation. Shinwoo crossed his arms and sat on top of the desk before replying to her that Mr. Cha had filled him in. They've been dealing with some of grandfather's assets. He heard that rent for her bookstore is considerably less than market value. Does she have anywhere else to go? Disappointed, she told him that she'll have to find somewhere. She was grateful for the opportunity to have lived there up until now, so she didn't want to burden Mr. Park's grandson with her problems. Seeing her reaction, he questioned, "Shouldn't you be arguing that the contract period is still valid?" Jae replied, "Well, Mr. Park's no longer with us, and the contract was for life, so I guess technically it's over. I'm sorry for intruding like this, but could you possibly give us some time until we find a new place to move into?" She'll try to find somewhere as soon as possible, although she wasn't too confident if she could find one soon enough. After studying her expression, Shinwoo proposed a deal. He took out the contract. "I made a promise to my grandfather which I wasn't able to keep. But if you help me, I think I can make good on that promise." When she saw the contract, blind date, her face flushed. Shinwoo read out the blind date contract word for word and stated that if she does as per the contract, he will consider renewing her lease under the same condition. Jae readily agreed to go on the 3 blind dates. Shinwoo smiled. It seems like they have an agreement. The door slammed open. Mr. Do rushed in as he tried getting rid of the security guard. Shinwoo ordered the security guard to let Mr. Do go, to which the guard readily complied. Mr. Do shook Jae and asked if she's okay. He suggested they should go. He has a bad feeling about this place. Shinwoo ordered his guard to take them home and left a message for Jae that he will be in touch with her. Jae thanked him before their departure. Mr. Do declined the guard and stated they will make their own way home, but Jae told Mr. Do he can walk home. She is going to take the offered ride home and follow after the guard. Left with no choice, Mr. Do scurried after the two. After everyone left, Shinwoo gazed at the door upstairs expressionless, probably thinking of how Jae and Mr. Do came from there. At Lee's bookstore, Jae feels restless, tapping her finger and foot, thinking of the parting word from Shinwoo. She groaned and pondered, I must have misheard him. I haven't heard from him in over a week. Her thoughts was interrupted by Mr. Do. He poked out from the door and asked if Jahi could pick up a pumpkin from the supermarket and some chilies. Some good spicy food will help them all with the stress. He's starting the broth now, so it would be best if she leaves right now. Jahi sighed as she cannot be bothered about Shinu right now. Mr. Do poked his head out again and warned her to be cautious of ghosts. Jahi walked out and a breeze swept by. She exhaled a big breath and wondered if she should tell her father that they are about to lose the bookstore, but decided against it. It will just worry him to death. Maybe she will tell him later. At a red light stop, from across the street, Jahi noticed a little girl, not appropriately dressed for this chilly weather. The little girl was wearing a suspender short skirt and short-sleeve shirt. She crossed the street and looked at the little girl, thinking, she must be so cold in those clothes. Just as Jahi was about to say something to the little girl, someone called out to her. Jahi, where are you off to? She turned around and saw Officer Kim waving to her from his patrol car window. What about the bookstore? Is Mr. Do looking after it? Jahi told him Mr. Do sent her out for pumpkin. Officer Kim was excited and commented, he's such a good cook, especially that noodle soup of his. Then his attention was directed to a pale, frail-looking woman. Excuse me, miss. You'll catch a cold dressed like that. You must be freezing. Officer Kim ran up to her and took off his jacket and asked the woman to put it on. The woman replied depressingly, I'm fine, officer. Any news? Officer Kim answered, you know, I'll tell you the second I hear anything. The woman then gave Jahi a flyer and said, please call this number if you see her. Please. Jahi took the flyer and from her while Officer Kim said he will take her home. It's too cold. Then, a man came by and called out, Kieran, are you all right? You cannot keep doing this to yourself. Officer Kim asked, you two live in the same apartment block, right? Shall I give you guys a ride? The man declined, saying that his car was just over there in that parking lot. Then he took the woman away while she cried for her poor baby. Jahi saw the little girl appear, gnashing her teeth at the man who took the woman away. Then she darted after the woman and man. Watching the two crossing the street, Officer Kim murmured, I feel so bad every time I see her. It's heartbreaking. Her daughter Sojong went missing this summer. We don't have any leads, so we've pretty much given up. Jahi looked at the flyer and froze. A ghost? What's happening? I've always been able to tell ghosts apart from living mortals. But I was about to speak to her. That's a first. This is all because the Grim Reapers aren't doing their jobs properly. I know it's a demanding job, but they're neglecting their duties. Noticing her state, Officer Kim grabbed her shoulder and asked, Jahi, are you all right? You're staggering. Jahi's attention was brought back to current issues. I'm fine. I'll get going now. Officer Kim quickly retreated his hands and urged her to go. He was sorry for delaying her. She nodded at him and wished him a nice day. But she couldn't shake off the problem from her mind. Should I tell her that her daughter is dead? No, I cannot. That's the kind of behavior I'm being punished for. It's not my place to get involved. At Lee's bookstore, Jahi was on the phone. She told the person on the phone that she will have the stuff he requested ready, so come get it anytime tomorrow. After she hung up, Mr. Do questioned if that was Professor Jang. Jahi reconfirmed with Mr. Do that Professor Jang will come tomorrow despite his busy schedule. But it's getting late, so they should go home too. Before they wrapped up, the doorbell chimed, but the door didn't open. Then, a black shadowy figure materialized at the door. Mr. Do tumbled backward down to the ground shouting, "Ah!" A Grim Reaper. Even Sook screamed, "Ka!" The Grim Reaper made its way, slowly towards Jahi. Dark aura emanating around the Grim Reaper. Jahi kept her eyes on the Reaper as it approached closer and closer to her. The Reaper came face to face with her and said, "So you can see me." Mr. Do blocked in between them. "You cannot take her. She's way too young." Jahi told Mr. Do to stay back. She knows that she was the only mortal here, so he must be there for her. Remembering when she was told that she will be reincarnated as a mortal and live a quiet life of atonement. Perhaps this is the moment she's been waiting for. If her mortal life has come to an end, then her punishment is finally over. The Grim Reaper stated, "It seems you're aware that the thing is a Dakebi. I've seen perceptive mortals in my time, but none capable of commanding a Dakebi." Jahi asked, "Am I about to die?" Mr. Do clung to her arm and yelled, "No way. She's perfectly healthy. She hasn't been involved in an accident." Why should she die? The Reaper replied, I have not yet received your register. Jahi knows he's telling the truth. He doesn't have her register. Grim Reapers receive a person's register a week before they die. Mr. Doe questioned, what? You don't have it. Then what on earth are you doing here threatening us? Isn't there some after-realm law against that? The Reaper replied that he has a favor to ask. He needs the help of a mortal, one who can see him, doesn't fear him, and can converse with him. Jahi questioned what kind of help. The Reaper replied, he needed her to find someone for him. He received her register today and went to find her, but she had already disappeared. He is supposed to take her within a week. He cannot detect her vitals, which implies that her soul has been separated from her body. She asked, so are you saying that she died before it was her time? The Reaper explained, that's right. I need to know when she died, where she died, and why she died, so I can find her soul. I need someone who can ask around and find out what caused her death. Mr. Doe suggested grumpily, look here, why don't you just take human form as a police officer and ask around yourself? The Reaper mumbled, to take human form, I'd need to be. Mr. Doe couldn't hear the rest and yelled, speak up. What are you saying? Jahi explained, he's trying to say that he may look like a senior Grim Reaper, but he's actually just a rookie. With a swoosh of his hand, the dark aura formed an image of the little girl that Jahi saw earlier. Her name is Sojong. Her address is here. Please help me. I'm counting on you. And then vanished. Mr. Doe fumed angrily. Huh, what a useless Grim Reaper. He cannot just dump this on us like that. Just ignore him, boss. He doesn't have your register. He cannot do anything to you. If you get involved, people will just think you're some nosy weirdo. We don't have any reason to go poking around trying to get information on that kid. Arg, we've been having such dreadful luck lately. And now we have to deal with a stupid Grim Reaper? I better go throw some salt. Jahi was too occupied with the issue to react to Mr. Doe, the little girl who didn't realize she was a ghost. She better go see Officer Kim tomorrow. She wanted to just live a quiet life as a mortal. Why do these strange things keep happening to her? While deep lost in thoughts, the doorbell chimed, and this time, the door actually opened. The man who entered stated, I know it's late, but I saw the lights were still on, so? Jahi saw that it was Shinu. She quickly invited him in. Glancing around, he mumbled that the place is smaller than he imagined. She asked him to take a seat and if he would like some coffee. He said as long as it's not instant. Jahi went to the back to make some coffee. Observing the place again, Shinu thought the place was rather cozy. Lee's bookstore. He can understand why grandfather liked coming here. And Jahi. This was his only third time seeing her, but somehow she feels so familiar. He will have a better idea after spending more time with her. Who she was and why she seems familiar. One day when he had a fever, all his memories came flooding back. They were memories he would rather forget. He couldn't remember how he survived, but he now knew who he was, and he realized that his divine powers had completely disappeared. He could no longer wield them. He had become a mere mortal. He became incapable of seeing or sensing anything that didn't belong to the mortal realm. Just then, Mr. Doe came in grumbling. We're now low on salt too. Boss, I think we need to go buy salt. Ack, what the hell? Mr. Doe panics upon seeing Shinu in the room. Sook got out of his house and leaped onto Shinwu's shoulder. He gently poked Sook and asked, your name is Sook, right? Looks like you remember me. You're so smart. Sook looked delighted to see Shinu too. Mr. Doe lectured, Oi, get over here you. What are you being all chummy with him for? We might end up on the streets 'cause of him. Although it was the second time Sook and Shinu met, they had almost the same expression. Shinu thought the two of them were hiding in that room above his study, but he couldn't find any trace of them on the CCTV footage. At least one of them must be a divine or Dakebi if they can travel through space. Shinu explained to Mr. Doe, it seems like Jahi hasn't updated you. I said I'd renew the lease on this place if she keeps her promise to my grandfather. Surprised, Mr. Doe questioned, what? Really? What's this promise? Shinu replied, a blind date. Mr. Doe asked, so that guy Mr. Park was trying to set her up with, it's you? Shinu asked if he was aware. Mr. Doe danced happily, his mood light up. You bet I was. I was here when she agreed to it. We're saved. Yay. Yes, of course. Promises and contracts must be honored. Yes, sire. Then he looked around and wondered where Jahi was. She replied, behind you, scaring him momentarily. I'll close up shop, Mr. Doe. You get yourself home. I have things to discuss with our guest here. He hurriedly scurried away. I see. Then I'll be on my way. Jahi sighed. and then put the coffee on the table for Shinu. He asked if they live together. She answered yes, but they live in separate buildings. Shinu sipped the coffee, wondering why he asked that. They're obviously not dating. Putting the coffee mug down, he explained, I'm rather busy, so I was hoping you'd be able to work around my schedule. How does tomorrow sound for our first date? She was surprised. Tomorrow was too soon. He stated that they can postpone if she is not available, but he was not sure when he'll have time again. She was the one who had the most to lose. In desperation, she agreed without a second thought. Tomorrow it is. Where and when? He said he will pick her up at 6 p.m. The next day, Professor Zhang arrived at the bookstore, but it was bustling and crowded with people. He was confused to what's going on. Was there some kind of sale? Jahi came running to greet him. He questioned what's going on. He's been coming to the bookstore since her grandfather's time, but the place has never been this crowded. Jahi was not sure herself either. She wanted to make him some tea, but with this many people. Professor Zhang told her not to worry. But look at Mr. Doe, smiling from ear to ear. Jahi excused herself to go get the stuff Professor Zhang needed. After grabbing his stuff, she walked Professor Zhang out to his car. He told her not to bother, but she insisted. It's been so long since she last saw him. He asked how her father was. When will he be back? Jahi stated that she just spoke to her father a few days ago. Looks like he's been delayed. She bid goodbye to him and wished him a safe drive back. After the car drove off, she looked up at the skies and noticed that it's getting dark already. Then her phone buzzed, startling her. She looked at her phone. It was 5:37 p.m. She cannot go on a date dressed like that. Large loose shirt and jeans. A wind breeze swooshed by, and she felt chill. She should at least get changed. As she approached the door, a voice behind asked, When are you planning on doing what I asked of you? His sudden questioning out of nowhere startled her. She asked if the Reaper could make some noise when he appeared. If he keeps sneaking up on her like that, she'll end up having a heart attack. Mortals are pretty weak. The Reaper questioned if she was threatening him when she hadn't even tried to help him. She stated that it wasn't a threat, but simply a request. Plus, she has her own things to take care of. She cannot drop everything for the Reaper. How brave of you. Do I not frighten you? The Reaper questioned. Jahi asked, You told me yourself that you do not have my register. So why should I be frightened? And why don't you go and tell the girl's mother instead of bothering me like this? You may not be able to find out what caused her death, but you can at least locate her soul. The Reaper stated, What do you think I've been doing all day? I spent the whole day watching her mother. I'm here because the girl is nowhere to be found. Jahi thought. No way. She was following her mother around just yesterday. Something's off about this. Then a voice asked, Have you been waiting for me? It was Shinu Park, picking her up for the date. Jahi told the Reaper to leave. If he kept bothering her like this, she wouldn't help him. The Reaper glanced at Shinu standing behind him, then back at her for a moment before vanishing. She sighed a breath of relief. Shinu questioned if she was talking to him. She chuckled off the awkwardness. No, of course not. I was talking to myself. I do that sometimes. We've been so busy today. I haven't had the chance to get ready. He told her he can wait. She told him it won't be long and ran inside. After she went inside, Shinu looked at the spot she was standing on earlier, replaying what he witnessed. When he left from the parking lot and arrived on the sidewalk from the corner, he noticed her shouting into nothingness. She was talking to thin air. So maybe her colleague isn't the Dakebi, maybe it's her. He hoped not. If his grandfather was that fond of a mere Dakebi, the mirror of truth wouldn't look favorably upon it. He hopes she's just a very perceptive mortal. The car arrived at a large luxury hotel. Shinu asked for her hand to assist her out of the car. Clicking sound was heard, and then they saw someone running away. The guard told them to go up, and he'll be back in a moment. Shinu told Jahi they should go. She forgot. He's the chairman of Hansung Group now. He's all over the news. Turning up to a hotel with a young woman. Shinu told her she doesn't need to worry about her photograph being published. His security guards are well versed in persuasion. But if she prefers for this to be made public, that can be done. She adamantly refused. He grinned at her expression. You didn't even try to hide your disgust. Now I kind of want to make it happen. She told him not to joke around about things like that. He told her he's got a good reputation, but it seems like he's not her type. She said she just wanted to lead a quiet life as she pressed the elevator button. When the elevator door opened, a man in the elevator saw them and sneered. Mr. Park, right? I guess that's Chairman Park now, it's official. What brings you here? Never thought I'd see you in a place like this. Let alone with a young lady. She's not still in school, is she? Shinu explained, "We're here for dinner." "And what brings you here, Mr. Kim? Didn't you have a meeting with HNY today?" "The meeting wasn't here, as far as I'm aware." Mr. Kim explained he has some personal matters to attend to. He's just on his way to the meeting now. Shinu stated he doesn't want to pry, but Mr. Kim should hurry. He mustn't be late. Then he guided Jae inside the elevator as Mr. Kim walked past them. Mr. Kim watched them intently as they got inside the elevator, but before the door shut tight, he grabbed onto the elevator door and pried it open. "Wait, about the investment for the Han Research Institute. I heard it's still pending approval. Is there a problem?" Shinu stated that he's still in the process of reviewing it. As Mr. Kim is well aware, he's been pretty occupied dealing with other issues. Mr. Kim questioned, "Your grandfather never once failed to invest in this research. You're not holding back the funding because of me, are you?" Shinu yelled, "Mr. Kim, why would you have anything to do with my decision? You're asking for twice the usual amount. I should give it a thorough review, no? I also ought to show that I'm not just some figurehead, as some people are claiming. Please be patient. I'll review it and let you know in 2 days' time." Then he pressed the close button, shutting the elevator door. Inside the elevator, Jae stole glances at Shinu. He asked why was she looking at him like that. She said all this time she thought it was 'cause he looks like his grandfather, but that's not it. She doesn't know how to put this, but there's something strangely familiar about him. Have they met somewhere? He smirked and asked if that was an attempt at a pickup line. She should try a better one next time. Jae laughed. In hindsight, she was serious though. She cannot explain this feeling, but she feels like she knows him from somewhere. The greeter greeted them at the entrance. He stated he will show them to their table. As they were being led to their table, a man walked past them lost in thought. He bumped into her lightly, and she noticed that he was the guy from yesterday. He had that badge on yesterday too. Shinu asked what she was looking at. She told him nothing, but then the little girl walked by, staring at the man, not letting the man out of sight. Jae was shocked to see her. What's that little girl doing here? Without a second thought, she went after the little girl, leaving Shinu and the greeter confused. She rushed out to the hallway, and the girl was gone. But it was definitely the little girl she saw. Then, Shinu came behind her and asked what on earth was she doing? Was she trying to void their agreement? Jae was quickly brought back to reality. She denied. "No, I'm sorry. I thought I saw someone I know. But I was mistaken. I'm excited for this date, seriously." He remembered who just walked by and said with disinterest, "You have a weird taste in men. Wasn't he too old for you? Do you like having affairs or something? Or maybe you need glasses. Anyways, if you're looking for other guys while on a date with me, isn't that a sign that you want to end our agreement?" Jae kept denying all his questions. She was not sure what to say. When the security guard came up from the elevator and saw them, he asked what they were still doing out there. Shinu explained, "I was just asking my date here if she'd rather abandon me to pursue her weird taste in men." Jae covered her face in embarrassment and denied. "I wasn't into him." Their dinner table was by the large glass window, overseeing the city. Their dinner date was quiet, very quiet. She ate while he sipped on his drink and watched her eat. What do people usually talk about on blind dates? Do people usually just go home after dinner? On their way back, Shinu asked if she was going straight home. She told him she needed to stop by the store first, and thus he dropped her off at the bookstore. Mr. Do ran outside calling her name. Jae asked if something was wrong. There was none. He was just worried as she was late. And she must be exhausted since she even had to deal with Shinwa's third wheeling, the security guard. Jae shook off her hand, stating she is fine. Mr. Do should get home himself. She thanked Shinu for the dinner and wished him a safe trip home. He requested to go in for some tea if she doesn't mind. She froze, not sure how to answer. He turned away and said he was thinking they could discuss when to have their next date. But if she's too tired, that's okay. She grabbed his arm and said that's not at all. He should go in. As they got inside, Shinu asked if she had anything other than coffee. She replied that she has some really good green tea, while wondering if he doesn't like the coffee she gave him yesterday. He stated anything, but coffee is fine. Suk was happy to see him. Thus he asked her what made her decide to get a lizard as a pet, since it's uncommon. She told him she didn't decide, per se. They met by chance. Flashback to when she met Suk. He was trembling as she was on her way. She told him to have a seat, and she'll be back with the tea soon. He was left alone in the room, but then the doorbell chimed, attracting his attention to the door. Mr. Do dragged Officer Kim in. He wanted to deny it as it's already after hours, and they're already closed. Mr. Do stated it's fine. Officer Kim should come in. Then Officer Kim noticed they still have a customer. He greeted Shinwoo and asked if Shinwoo is a local. He's never seen Shinwoo before and blabbered on about the bookstore and how he's been coming since he was little. Shinwoo thought, this guy sure is talkative. Mr. Do stated he'll ask Jae to make Officer Kim some tea too. Then, Jae poked her head through the door, stating she was glad Officer Kim was here. She has a favor to ask, but she'll tell him in a minute. She served them tea and handed a cup to Shinwoo. Officer Kim praised that Jae's tea is really special. It's sweeter and better than tea from any tea house. Shinwoo sipped the tea and commented, I don't think green tea's supposed to be sweet. Is this Yujin tea? It's got a clean and subtle taste. This shocked everyone. Officer Kim and Jae stared wide eyes at him while Mr. Do commented, wow, guess we've got another old soul here. I thought that only the boss was capable of figuring that out from one sip. Shinwoo grinned and said, it's definitely better than your coffee. Jae smiled and was happy he liked it. Mr. Do complained, I have no idea why you drink that plant broth. Officer Kim praised, your buckwheat tea is delicious too, Mr. Do. It doesn't sound convincing to Mr. Do. He replied, I don't believe you. You never have a bad word to say about anything. Shinwoo sat the cup down and stated he should get going. Does next Saturday work for her? How about noon? Jae readily agreed that it works for her. Officer Kim was confused and asked if they were working together or something. Shinwoo turned around and said, nope. We're dating, leaving Officer Kim dumbfounded. Mr. Do tried to ease the situation. Hey, don't worry. They're not really dating. Shinwoo came outside and exhaled a breath, but before he could walk away, Jae already came out after him. He told her she should go back inside. It's cold out. She shivered but told him she's all right. He dropped her off at home, so she should at least see him off. At that moment, a white SUV sped by. Jae seemed to have recognized that white car and attempted to go after it. But then a large truck was coming by fast, headlight blinding, honking at her. At this instant, the way Chairman Juho Park died in a car accident flashed by in his mind. His cause of death was that a truck driver had fallen asleep at the wheel. Shinwoo was terrified. He pulled her back to the sidewalk in time to save her life. Shinwoo squeezed her arms tight and yelled, when mortals die, that's it. They don't come back. Even if you are reincarnated, you're not the same person as before. The security guard came running asking if everything was all right. Shinwoo told her to go back inside and left with his guard. Jae was confused. Why is he so angry? And what did he mean by that? Then the Reaper appeared out of nowhere, startling her when he asked, what exactly is he? Jae yelled at him to make some noise before turning up. The Reaper replied, nonsense, Grim Reapers appear silently. Anyhow, that man. There's something peculiar about him. His aura is not that of a mortal. She questioned him, what do you mean? Like a ghost? The Reaper answered, not a ghost. That's why I said it was peculiar. I'm not sure, but his aura seemed to be of the celestial realm. Ah, what do you know? Anyway, being a mortal and all, the Reaper humphed, thinking he just wasted his time explaining to a mortal. Jae questioned, if he's from the celestial realm, do you mean to say he's pretending not to see you? The Reaper thought, no, that cannot be. No being can remain so calm after seeing a Grim Reaper. And what of that child? Jae stated she is still looking. The next day, 3 women were gossiping about incidents and accidents happening around their neighborhood. They were frustrated with the events happening around lately, and why does stuff keep happening? At this rate, their house prices are going to plummet. One woman suggested that they should do something about it. How about installing more security cameras? Another woman replied that already did, but it had no effect. Could it be they are dealing with a poltergeist? They've had things falling out of thin air. The women tried to hush each other as Jae walked by. They laughed it off as no big deal and excused that it was probably just some kids messing around. No one was hurt. Must probably be a prank. They don't want others to know what's going on in their neighborhood. Jae looked at the building she was supposed to investigate. She's here now, what? Come to think of it, every time she sees Sojong, that man has been there. If a ghost is following someone around, it's usually a bad omen. Does he have something to do with her death? She overheard Officer Kim say that the man lives in the same apartment as Sojong. But how does she find him? She cannot go around ringing every doorbell. Thinking of what those women said about dealing with a poltergeist. Could it be Sojong's doing? Then she noticed the same car she saw the night before. That's the man's car. Maybe she should just wait there for the man. As she looked around, she saw Sojong's mom come out of the entrance, looking pale and depressed. The wind blew some of the flyers away, and the mom tried reaching for the flyers. She felt so helpless and collapsed on the ground. Jae rushed to her and asked if she was okay. The mom fumbled and mumbled, "Sojong. My poor baby." Jae helped the mom pick up the flyers. Then she heard the car start and drove away. She has to find the man. As she was about to leave, Sojong materialized next to her mother. Sojong hugged her mother with a sad expression, but the mother couldn't see, feel, or hear her daughter's embrace and longing. Jae yelled, "Sojong, wait!" But Sojong glared at her and vanished. She could see the energy aura following the white car. Jae sighed. She could have held on to Sojong if that Grim Reaper was here. He's never around when he's actually needed. Useless. Jae picked the last of the flyer and handed it back to the mom. The mom thanked her. Jae told the mom that she will be on the lookout for Sojong and will get in touch with the mom. Then she gave her scarf to the mom and asked the mom to take it. "It's so cold today. She will be fine without it since she will be indoors all day." The mom needed it more than she. The mom thanked her and excused herself. She needs to hand out these flyers. Jae murmured, "I'll do whatever I can to help Sojong on her way," as she watches the moms retreating back. Mr. Do was sweeping the front when Jae came back. It was sooner than he expected. Jae said she lost her, and she isn't sure when Sojong will be back. Mr. Do whined, "Just let it go, seriously. Don't help that half-wit Grim Reaper. The sooner he gets fired, the better." Jae reasoned that this is through no fault of his own. If they don't help, she might turn into a malevolent spirit. Mr. Do questioned, "What's gotten into her? She was doing so well staying out of trouble after that incident with SME." Flashback of a scene that looked like a funeral scene. Whatever Jae said to SME gave SME a shocked expression. She was punished for interfering in the fate of a mortal. She promised herself to never do such a thing again. But, just this once. She wants to help Sojong reach the afterrealm. Mr. Do knew nothing he said could sway her. He gave in, but asked what happened to her scarf. Jae stated that someone needed it more than she did, so she gave it away. Mr. Do complained, "Sometimes you're just too kind. Do you know that? You're going to the supermarket, right? Take this." He took off his own scarf and wrapped it around her. She tried to refuse as the store is around the corner, but Mr. Do wouldn't take no for an answer. He knew she couldn't handle the cold. As she left, he shouted to her, "Stare straight ahead. All right. No eye contact with ghosts." Jae blew hot air onto her hands, trying to warm it up. "It's freezing." Good thing she took Mr. Do's scarf. She heard screaming pitch noise and froze. What's that noise? And this cold air? Sojong materialized in front of her and begged, "Please help. Please. Help my mom." At Arcane Manor, Shinu was reading through documents while sipping on tea. He thought he'll have to ask Jae where she got her tea. Then someone knocks on the door. Shinu instructed the person to come in. It was Mr. Cha. He came to ask if Shinu read through the paperwork yet. Shinu knew that Mr. Kim must be at it again on Mr. Cha. Mr. Cha suggests that it would be in their interest to not antagonize Mr. Kim any further. Shinu understands this is funding that they will eventually have to invest in, but why does he insist on this particular research institute? Mr. Cha reasoned that perhaps it was just an issue of timing. Around the time the Han Research Institute applied for funding, Mr. Kim took up an interest in archaeological excavations. Shinu sighed and bluntly stated, "What you really mean is that since he's grandfather's second cousin, twice removed, grandfather opted to let him have his funding to avoid any frictions, and now it's customary." Mr. Cha couldn't deny it, but wanted to focus on the positive. At least it's returning better results than other research institutes. Shinu stated that if everything's as this report makes it out to be, they can go ahead with the investment. And if Mr. Cha happens to see Eun-san on his way out, then tells Eun-san to see him. Mr. Cha said Eun-san is tending to the garden today. Shinu looked surprised. Mr. Cha explained that since the gardener quit after the chairman passed away, Eun-san volunteered to tend the gardens in his spare time. Shinu got into deep thought. Some of the trees in Arcane Manor are tricky to care for, so even an experienced gardener would find it challenging. Thinking back, one day, grandfather suggested for Mr. Jean to take a day off. It's too cold, but Mr. Jean refused, stating that he's all right. Since winter comes early, the trees are in desperate need of pruning. Then, Yu Engson came in and asked if Shinu needed anything. Shinwu stated he heard that Un-san was doing some gardening. Un-san replied, yes, the trees are in desperate need of pruning. Shinwu handed a file to Un-san and ordered, I'd like you to investigate the person in this file. Oh, and shouldn't we be planting some bulbs in the garden by the study, ready for next spring? Un-san replied, I planted some peony bulbs already. You should be able to see them from the study in spring. Shinwu questioned him, how did you know grandfather wanted peonies there? He said that before you even worked here, did he not? Should I call you Un-san or Mr. Jean? Or perhaps the Dokkaebi of Arcane Manor? Un-san looked surprised and stood motionless as his secret was being exposed. Shinwu assured him, no need to be so alarmed. I'm not planning on terminating your contract. Provided no one else finds out, of course. But I do have one question for you. The other day, 2 people came tumbling out of the study on the 2nd floor. I'm pretty sure they weren't ghosts, which means that one of them must be a Dokkaebi. Is Jahi a Dokkaebi? Youngsun replied, no sire. She's not. Then the study door on the 2nd floor opened, white light flashed, and Mr. Do jumped out, tumbling down the stairs. He jolted up, grabbed Un-san, and yelled, Day-san, you have to help me. It's my boss. She disappeared. She's been gone for ages. Un-san was startled speechless. You're crazy. Shinwu stood up and questioned, what's going on with your boss? Mr. Do tried to explain through his sobbings. She went to the supermarket, but she still hasn't come back. We need to find her now. Shinwu felt it was ridiculous. She went to the supermarket? Aren't you being a tad dramatic? Mr. Do reasoned. It's never taken her this long before. Not since she got tricked by some ghost who put her through hell. And I asked at the supermarket. They said they haven't seen her today. Officer Kim's out looking for her too, but she's nowhere to be found. Shinwu asked, what about her phone? Can't the office trace it? Mr. Do replied, she doesn't have one. She said she doesn't need one cause she never goes anywhere. This is why I told her to just leave that Grim Reaper to do his own damn job. Hearing Mr. Do muttered this, Shinwu panicked. Grim Reaper? She saw a Grim Reaper? Then her life's in. Before he could finish, Mr. Do cut him off. Don't you dare jinx her fate. He said he hasn't received her register yet. She just has extra special eyes, that's all. That's why she can see him. Then he turned to Un-san and shook Un-san. Day-san, you can help me, right? You gotta help me find her. Un-san explained, I cannot trace her. She's not even a Dokkaebi. Mr. Do would not take no for an answer. He reasoned, you're good with directions. You can find your way anywhere. Please find her. This is the least you can do for me. I lost all my powers of gold cause of you. So find her now. Right now? Un-san explained again that Jahi was not a Dokkaebi. He cannot trace her scent. Mr. Do stated that she is wearing his scarf, so Youngsun can trace his scent. Shinwu questioned whether Un-san can trace her. He said it's possible if she's still wearing the scarf. Mr. Do held tight onto Youngsun's arm and urged, let's go. But Shinwu stated that he was coming along too. He put on his coat and said he was not just going to sit and twiddle his thumbs. She was very special to his grandfather and they're dating. He has to help. Youngsun could only give in to the demands of these people. He instructed Shinwu to hold tight. Dokkaebi Road isn't safe for mortals. Light dispersed and swooshed. They went through the areas that had Mr. Do's trace, and they finally arrived at an underground parking lot. Mr. Do quickly recognized the parking lot and yelled, hey, this is the supermarket. I already told you she didn't come here, you idiot. When are you going to get it right? Un-san scolded. It's because you left your scent all over the place. Then he turned to Shinwu and asked if Shinwu was okay. He answered that he was fine. They should move on to the next place. Mr. Do refused to go as it seems Un-san doesn't know what he's doing. Then, he muttered, I've never been down here before. I don't even have a car. Why would my scent be down here? Arg, I'm just going to find her on my own. I was an idiot for asking you. You're just wasting my time. He's so obtuse and loudmouth that he instantly gave the clue to Shinwu and Un-san. The two stepped forward and headed to inspect the parking lot. They split up to scan the area, leaving Mr. Do confused. Scanning the area, Shinwu came upon an area that was blocked off for construction. It was worth checking it out. He approached the blocked area and opened the large cloth curtain. There, he found Jahi on the ground, soaked in blood on her head and neck. Mr. Do ran over and called out her name, seeing her on the ground. Shinwu quickly knelt down to check her carotid artery for pulse. She is still breathing. He took off his jacket to cover her. Un-san had come over. Shinwu asked if they could teleport to a hospital. Unsan stated that Dokkaebi Road is too dangerous in her current state. Shinu then instructed Unsan to call Dr. Kim first. Then he wanted Unsan to stay there and find out exactly what happened. Mr. Do sobbed, "My poor boss. Give her here. I'll." Shinu cut him off and ordered him to lead the way to the bookstore. After some time had passed and Jaehee was treated, Shinu sat beside her bedside and thought, "It's weird. Why am I so worried about a woman I barely know? And why am I so angry at seeing her hurt like this? When I was training to become a Grim Reaper, a soul I happened to touch turned into black smoke. That's when I found out that I had the power to destroy souls. It was a power incompatible with the duty of a guiding soul to the after realm. Even after I had lost all my powers, I still avoided touching anyone. So why is it that I'm okay touching you?" Jaehee murmured and moved her head. First thing she saw when she opened her eyes was Shinu. She murmured, Mr. Park?" Shinu replied, "So you recognize me? Well, that's a good sign." She sat up and scanned the room. "This is my room." He answered, "Yes. How on earth did you get into this mess?" This question reminded her of what happened. She found the car and saw Sojong's mother in the back seat unconscious. While she remained shocked at the scene, she forgot to be vigilant, and the man came from behind, swung a bat, and hit her on the back of the head. The last thing she saw was the badge on the man's shirt. Then she jolted out of bed, yelling, "Sojong's mom." But after 2 steps, she felt dizzy and staggered. To steady her, Shinu held her and questioned, "What the hell are you doing? You need to rest." Jaehee attempted to pry his hands away. "Let go of me. Please, you have to let me go. Sojong's mom's in danger. We need to call the police." He sighed in frustration, then lifted her up and carried her back to the bed. Bewildered, she asked what he was doing. He put her down and pushed her in place on the bed. "The doctor said you need rest. I'll let you go if you promise to stay put." Mr. Do happened to come in and shouted, "Oi, get off her right now. I said get off her. This instant." Shinu reasoned that she was about to run to the police station in this condition. Does Mr. Do really want him to let her go? She said something about Sojong's mom being in danger. Jaehee looked horrid and turned her head to the other side. She doesn't want to face them and explain. Mr. Do bowed down respectfully and said, "Please make sure she doesn't go anywhere, Mr. Park. Even if you have to restrain her again." Jaehee jolted up and yelled, "Mr. Do." He pointed at her and reprimanded, "I told you not to get involved in that Grim Reaper's business, didn't I? You almost died thanks to him. Just get plenty of rest today, okay? Don't do anything stupid." Jaehee panicked and thought, "You cannot talk about a Grim Reaper in front of a mortal." Jaehee played dumb nervously, "Huh? I have no idea what he's talking about." Shinu did not beat around the bush. He said straight up, "Mr. Do might be one crazy Dokkaebi, but I cannot say I disagree with him about the Grim Reaper." "Ah, the cat is already out of the bag." She questioned, "How do you know?" Shinu told things as is. "Mr. Do was hysterical trying to find you. He didn't even try to hide his real identity. If it weren't for him, you'd have died in the parking lot." She asked, So you know about Mr. Do too?" Shinu stated that he used the Dokkaebi Road to Arcane Manor. Anyways, she should get plenty of rest. He sat down coolly, unperturbed by all this supernatural stuff. She had no choice but to come clean. "I know it's ridiculous for a mortal to help a Grim Reaper, but he said Sojong died before it was her time. She wasn't able to live her fate." He questioned if what she meant was that Sojong died before she was destined to die. Jaehee told him what the Grim Reaper told earlier. She was already dead by the time the Reaper received the register. The correct order was, the person was supposed to die 1 week after the Reaper received their register. And she had seen the ghost before the Reaper asked for her help. With determination, she said, "That's why we have to find her. We should ask Officer Kim for help. And her mom is in danger right now." Shinu told her to forget it. The police won't investigate without evidence. It never ends well when a mortal interferes in the afterrealm. Ignorance is bliss. Jaehee retorted that she knows. But she cannot just sit and do nothing. She also doesn't expect him to help her. So he should stay out of her way. Then Shinu stood up and told her to put her coat on. She asked if he was going to go with her. He sighed and questioned, "Does he have a choice? She can barely even walk." Jaehee smiled, feeling touched. Then Youngsun knocked on the door and asked if he could come in. Shinu opened the door. Officer Kim and Suk had the same crying expression. Suk wailed and ran to Jaehee. She knelt on the floor and told him she's all right now. Officer Kim asked if Jaehee is sure she's okay. Mr. Doe said she needed to rest. Shouldn't she be in bed? She said she's fine and was about to go look for him. He pointed at himself. Bewildered me? Juhi replied, yes. I need to talk to you about Sojong's mother. Then a voice came through Officer Kim's radio. Ace Apartments, Block 109. Report of someone falling, please head there ASAP. Officer Kim had to rush to the scene. He told Juhi they can talk about it later. He's sorry, but he has to leave now. Officer Kim was too occupied with the news that just came through. He didn't notice the horrified expression on Juhi's face, but Shinu did. And he asked what's wrong. She said that the apartment is where Sojong's mother lives. She might be involved. Her hope is not, but they have to go find out. Shinu sighed and mumbled that he didn't really want to. Her expression soured and told him that's okay. Anyways, thanks for today. Then Shinu stated he didn't say he's not going. He said he doesn't want to. He'll drive her there. He promised. He walked out the door and asked Unsan where the car was, and what did Unsan find? Unsan stated he checked the CCTV footage. There was another victim beside Ms. Lee, a middle-aged woman. She appeared to find something in the back of a man's car and confronted him. Then he attacked her and put her in the car. Ms. Lee showed up just after that, and he did the same to her. Shinu asked, does Unsan think he attacked her cause she witnessed a crime? Unsan explained, it was hard to say. That guy was acting really weird. After he attacked her, he was all flustered, almost like it was an accident. But when he attacked Ms. Lee, he didn't hesitate at all. Shinu asked, like he suddenly turned into a psychopath? Unsan stated his concerns. I have a bad feeling about this, sir. I think we should head back to Arcane Manor. Shinu slipped his coat over him and said, I promised Juhi I'd go with her. But I do have a favor to ask of you. Tell me if you see a Grim Reaper hanging around Juhi. I want to warn him off ever thinking about involving her in something like this again. At the crime scene, siren lights were flashing, reports snapped photos left to right, and reporters pressed for answers about the crime. And was it related to the missing little girl? Officer Kim blocked the reporters and yelled for them to stay back. They have to secure the area. No one is allowed to cross the line. The housewives in the area complained among themselves. Who would have thought that a nice man was capable of such a thing? He was having a drink with them the other day and was over the moon about getting a job at some research institute. But Sojong has been missing for many days. So why commit suicide? Another lady replied, isn't it obvious? He was about to get caught. Sojong's mom said to the police earlier that she found Sojong's umbrella keychain in his car. She confronted him about it. And then he whacked her over the head, almost killing her too. Lights from sirens and cameras flashed non-stop. Sojong's mother wept in pain. My poor baby. Juhi and Shinu arrived at the site and saw Sojong's mother crying so much that she almost lost her balance. Juhi saw Sojong's soul attempting to steady her mother and repeatedly told her mother not to cry. It was as if this emotion was absorbed by Juhi and she started crying. Shinu asked if she was okay. She told him she just needed a minute. Then, a Grim Reaper appeared next to the daughter mother. Found you, Sojong you. I will now collect your soul as per your register. Juhi yelled out, wait, hold on. But Shinu held her in place. She yelled for Shinu to let her go. He told her she cannot get involved any further. She should let it go. Then Sojong's mother collapsed from exhaustion. The Reaper told Juhi that she hasn't been of much help, but he was able to find Sojong's soul today, thanks to her. Then he noticed the soul of the man that killed Sojong. I have another soul to collect now, but I thought I'd at least say goodbye. Juhi asked what's going to happen to the little girl. The Grim Reaper replied, I don't know. My role is just to guide her to the after realm. After that, everything is up to the judges. They will determine the gravity of her sins and find out why things went wrong with her soul. Juhi scolded. Whatever happened with her soul wasn't her fault. That was a mistake made in the after realm. Just what on earth is the king even doing, making such a mess of things? The audacity of Juhi to find fault with the king made the Grim Reaper angry. But the guard, Unsan, blocked between them. The Reaper berated, a mere dope KB dares to stand in my way. Juhi was caught by surprise that Youngsan is a dope KB. The Reaper unsheathed his sword. Do you really want to feel the wrath of the after realm? At this moment, Shinu yelled, stop. You're done here. Go back to where you came from. The Reaper sheathed his sword back and scolded. Huh? Very brave for a mortal who cannot even see me. And then he left a departing word for Juhi. You won't see me again until I receive your register. But you ought to watch what you say, especially when it concerns the king. And a word of warning before I depart. That dope KB at your bookstore, and this creature here, do not associate yourself with them. It will do you no good in the afterlife. The judges of the after realm do not look favorably upon dope KB. Juhi felt so sorry for the little girl when she left with the Grim Reaper. What punishment awaits her is unknown.